All right, so another hour here of C2C on a Pain-Free Friday, and we start with all of these massive college football games tomorrow.
Yes, we certainly do. Big, heavy hitter games on a Saturday, and none bigger, as we've talked about, than Ohio State and Penn State for both Ryan Day and James Franklin. A lot on the line here. Potential Big Ten title game appearance, college football playoff, etc., etc. Here's Franklin, though, and once again, I mean, this is probably why he loses all of these big games.
It's another game.
It's just another game. Sure, Coach.
For us, we just stay consistent with our process. Is there a lot more noise outside? Do we start getting questions like your questions? Yes. Like I said today at the quarterback club, West Virginia to open the season was a big game. Bowling Green was a big game. If you don't think it wasn't, lose to Bowling Green and see how people react. They're all big games. This is a big game because of how we've handled the previous six. So we don't change our process. I can't control the noise and the things that are outside this building, but we stay consistent with how we go about our business, and I can't control the other things.
I mean, this guy is something else. This guy has lost to Ohio State more than you've had orange juice in your life. I mean, this guy can't beat Ohio State. Like, I'll believe it when I see it. Like, I've never seen a guy jinxed like this. Like, even Harbaugh was jinxed against Ohio State, but he finally cracked the nut and beat him, right? Like, and then he, beat him a couple times. But this guy, Franklin, never beats Ohio State. I mean, they own him.
1-9 in his career against Ohio State. 1-8 against top 5 teams. 1-6 versus top 10 teams at home. 6-9 versus ranked teams at home. This is not another game. This is not, and he's right. If you lose to Bowling Green at home,
are you kidding me?
But look, if you lose at home to Bowling Green, yeah, people make a big deal about it. But you're supposed to beat Bowling Green. This is different. You got to finally crack the egg here against this team. That's what he needs to do. It is 3.5 for Ohio State. On the road, favorite. We've talked about the Will Howard stuff all week. -3.5 for them. 47.5 is the total for this game coming up. I think me and you have been consistent all week. I think Ohio State's going to win and find a way to cover this number. I don't care that Aller's playing.
Well, I hope that they do, even though I hate them. I hate both of them. I really do hate both of them. But here's the deal.
I know.
Ohio State played Oregon down to a field goal. I mean, the bottom line is they had the ball with a chance to kick a field goal and win the game, and the kid slid too far and the clock ran out. I think this game's going to be the same thing. I think this game's coming down to the last second, and it's going to be a field goal, win or lose or blocked or something. I think that hook's coming into play. My guess is Ohio State wins by a field goal and doesn't cover the 3.5. But I want them to cover the 3.5 because I love watching Franklin lose.
I love watching Franklin lose as well. Other big game at noon, of course, Miami is undefeated this year. And they're now up to number 5 in the country. Of course, trying to get themselves in the ACC title game, into the college football playoff. Cam Ward has been outstanding this year. There's been a lot of Heisman talk about Cam Ward. We talk about him every week. But believe it or not, he doesn't care about that talk. There's only one thing that he cares about, Scotty, and that's winning it all.
Especially with the media team, creative team that we have, who's going to continue to do, good things for myself and the team. But it's just a blessing. It really doesn't bother me. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to make football plays, get where you want. My goal is not to be a Heisman Trophy winner. My goal is to win football games and play for a national championship. So I'm just trying to stick to that and stick to my teammates, and hopefully we get a win this week.
Listen, no one loves the Canes more than me, and they all know that down there too, that I'm crazy about the Miami Hurricanes. But listen, every game they play is like dangerous. I mean, I know they got by Florida State because they're like a high school team this year. They're a disaster. But I'll say this. Every other game's been hairy and a nightmare. So I have serious reservations, to be honest with you, about winning a national championship with this team. The one thing I'll say about them is they score a lot. They lead the nation in scoring. They are dangerous. They are capable of scoring 46, 50 points a game, but they're also giving up lots of points. And so their, vaunted defense, I think, is clearly overrated. And they've been in too many scary games for me. If you play in a bunch of close games, now some people would say, hey, they win all the games. They're great in close games. But eventually, when you play in enough close games, you get burned. And I don't want to see them get burned like in the playoffs, which is where I think they will get burned. And they also have still, I think, that tough game left on the road at Syracuse. And, and Georgia Tech in Atlanta. They play these teams, Duke, Georgia Tech, poorly in the past. It's been going on forever. And then going to the Dome to finish it, they're going to be a hot potato that day. Like, if they're undefeated and you're playing a team that's undefeated and you have a chance to ruin their season, right down in there that day, that's what gets guys off. They get off on it. Like, college football players get off on this type of stuff. And that's where I'm worried about them in a close game on the road at the end of the season to screw it all up. So I think they got their hands full tomorrow with that 20 and a hook for sure.
I think this is a lot here. Now, Duke's been good to me this year, so maybe that's just kind of me leaning to them. They're 6-2. Manny Diaz done a great job. We talked about him yesterday. 20 and a half, a little bit too much for me. I like Duke with the points, but Miami will stay undefeated and keep themselves going here towards that playoff. Oregon and Michigan, you talked with Gabe about that. That is 14 and a half for the Ducks on the road in Ann Arbor. We've got the cocktail party with Georgia now. This was 16 and a half a couple days ago. 14 and a half now for that. And SMU still 7.5 over Pitt in the big ACC game that nobody can watch on Saturday.
Yeah, I still feel like the SMU is going to take advantage of Gerald Ford in Dallas and playing at home, and I think they're going to hand Pitt their first loss. I'm rooting for Pitt, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Oregon wins by 17 or more in Ann Arbor. I don't think Michigan can stop Dylan Gabriel and the Ducks. And in terms of the Florida-Georgia game, I think Beck and Georgia is going to win that game and cover in Jacksonville. I think Florida has played better, and they played better at Knoxville than anybody and lost in overtime. But this is a different beast altogether. Georgia, ever since the Texas game, to me, has found their groove. They're 6-1, and they mean business, and they racked Texas. And if that's what they did to Texas in Austin at Memorial, what do you think they're going to do to Florida? Florida's not Texas by any stretch. Georgia's going to spank that ass tomorrow.
I'm with you. I think this is a 3-tutty plus win for Georgia at the cocktail bar. I think Georgia's done screwing around with everyone like they did early in the season before beating Texas. They weren't covering games. They had some close game, the Kentucky game, etc. I think that's over with now. I think that they have eyes on the prize after beating Texas, and they're going to smash smash Florida coming up here at the cocktail party. All right, we'll come back, and I'll roll through the rest of the racks of games. How do you feel about that
Pitt SMU game? I mean, do you think the Panthers can go down there and cover and win? And I mean, they're undefeated, and I'm sitting there taking SMU.
I'm taking Pitt with the points in Dallas. You might be right about SMU winning the game and ending the undefeated season, but I think Pitt has done a good enough job scoring that I think that they're going to be able to hang around in this game and get it done. They've been putting some
Pitt's
points
got
on the
a quarterback. He can play.
Yep. So I'm going to go with Pitt with the points. SMU wins the game, though.
I mean, that really is a great rack of ribs right there. That rack of games right there is delicious. Who needs sauce?
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was Lincoln! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Tatum has fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump, his release. It's really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's shooting 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 42, 43%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take!
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Are you okay with him moving to the head of the class of the Heisman with those 2 games? Because he wasn't even in the discussion before those 2 games.
This is a big opportunity for Dylan if he wants to continue to make his case for the Heisman Trophy, and I think he's shown that. I mean, what is he, a 6th-tier player who's going to probably end up setting most of the passing marks because he's been around for so long? So why not also throw a Heisman Trophy in the mix?
Ferrall Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, so we have a lot more college football that we're going through here.
Yeah, we've dipped the toe in most of these games this week, of course, but it is Friday, and we have to let everybody know where we stand on every game heading into the weekend. Jackson Dart leads the SEC in passing yards. He will lead Ole Miss into Fayetteville for the noon East kick for the Rebs and the Razorbacks. We have Air Force and Army getting together at West Point. Just over 3 tutties for Army, and the under in this series is obviously crazy. It's 41.5. Under cashes at a very big clip. Illinois and Minnesota. Minnesota, the road favorites in Champaign. Syracuse getting points at the Dome against Virginia Tech. I like Cuse this week, Scotty. And Auburn, 7.5-point favorites over Vandy at home.
Yeah, look, you look at these games, and I think Fayetteville's a dangerous place to go. Razorback Stadium, I could see them covering the number and Ole Miss squeaking by because of their defense. Their defense is the key to the deal as far as I'm concerned. Army, to me, at West Point is going to flatten Air Force. Air Force has been awful. They lose. They don't cover. They get ripped. I like Illinois and Memorial and Champaign-Urbana to win that game outright. Bielema and the Illini get straight against the Gophers. I don't understand why they're favored over this ranked team in their stadium. Vatek Cuse. I mean, I could see Vatek winning that game, but I'm with Carver High, leaning on Cuse here at the Dome. And I like Vandy and the number at Jordan Hare at Auburn. Now, look, Auburn, I mean, they really need this. You know what I mean? They just don't even matter anymore. And, I mean, they need a win like nobody's business. So I could see him winning the game, but Vandy covering. And I could also see Vanderbilt winning that game outright because they're flat out better than Auburn this year. This is a really good football team that means business. So anything's possible there down at Auburn.
And did you see what the helmets that Army's wearing in this game on Saturday against Air Force? I mean, this is just outstanding. Look at these helmets that Army's got rolling in here. I mean, that is nice. That's nice.
Skull and Bones. Those are Darth Vader. I mean, that is like strong effort right there.
Yes, the Knights up there at Mikan Stadium in West Point. Okay, Texas Tech into Iowa State, Big 12 game. Almost 2 tutties for Iowa State in that game. There's Indiana trying to stay undefeated in East Lansing against Michigan State. 7.5. Love the over there as well. All these Indiana games have been going over for me. Houston and Kansas State. Kansas State 12.5 on the road. Arizona State now 4.5 in Stillwater against the Cowboys. And Texas A&M 2.5-point favorites in Columbia against South Carolina.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about that game today on the show. Morency thinks the Aggies are going to go in there and roll. I think South Carolina is a great buy at 3.5. I mean, they give everybody problems, especially at Bryce Williams in Columbia. I think they got a shot here. Their coach seems to win big upset games. The job they did against Alabama and Tuscaloosa was unbelievable. They blew it. I thought that 2-point conversion was awful. The kid threw the ball into the stands, basically. Arizona State is playing with a backup in Stillwater. I don't know what's happened to the Pokes. They look awful. Can they wake up and beat a backup quarterback at home at Boone Pickens? I say yes. K-State should level Houston. I am concerned about the big number, but K-State's flat out, head and shoulders over Houston. And I know they played last week and won by 2 against Kansas. That's a different story. That's a rivalry game. Kansas has been an atrocity this year, but they played well last week against K-State. I'm surprised the Indiana spread's only 7.5. To be honest with you, it's a concern. They can't screw this season up at that place, at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing. Come on, they got to go up there and rub them out. And then Iowa State's going to win in Ames. They're going to beat Texas Tech, and I think they're going to cover. No one talks about this team. They are undefeated in the entirety of the season, and they're also undefeated in the Big 12. Right now, they are leaning on being in the Big 12 championship game. They mean business. Campbell's got a good team in Ames for sure.
And finally, Louisville and Clemson under the lights. Clemson, of course, undefeated in ACC play. Wisconsin and Iowa, I like the under in that game. I saw it at 41.5 this morning. USC, now a short favorite, 1.5 in Seattle against Washington. You've got Kentucky and Tennessee with a very fat number for the Vols, and TCU and Baylor, the Bears minus 3.5.
Yeah, I like Baylor at home in Waco. I think Kentucky somehow covers at Knoxville against Tennessee and makes a game of it. I've said this all week. Stoops is in trouble in Lexington. They keep losing. He's got to be in trouble. They pay him $10 million. He's not worth it. I like Washington at Husky Stadium against USC. I think the Trojans stink. Iowa's playing with a backup quarterback. I think Wisconsin might clip them at Kinnick in Iowa City, believe it or not. I know I was leaning Iowa yesterday. I'm kind of like thinking that they might have their hands full against Wisconsin. I know Wisconsin stumbled last week at home against Penn State. I think they can beat Iowa. And then I think Clemson's going to handle Louisville with no problem at Death Valley. I think they win that game by 14, 17 points. 10.5, I think they handle.
I'm with you. I think they'll take care of business against Louisville. So there you go, some of the bigger games. Obviously, there's a bunch of other games going on Saturday. I will give you my one Mountain West, one that lit up for me that I really liked this week. Colorado State minus 2.5 at Nevada and a nighttime kick under the lights in Reno. So I do like that. That was my Mountain West.
You like the Rams
I like the Rams.
Reno.
In Reno,
I told
minus
you
2.5.
At Hawaii last week on the Big Island. Everybody goes out there. I said that Nevada would screw that up nice and juicy. Now you're going for the back-to-back screw-up weeks, and they lose at home in Reno against the Rams of Colorado State. That's where Jesus lives.
That is where Jesus lives. And Colorado State's 3-0 in the Mountain West so far this year. They've played pretty well. So I think they're going to get
San Diego State, Boise.
Everybody, yeah, you got a bunch of undefeated teams in the Mountain West. One of them won't be after tonight with that Boise game against San Diego State. There you go. Big college football weekend. You'll have more with Kenny White at the top. He'll have his college plays for you as well.
it's a new era in CFP to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Tatum has fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump. His release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 42.3%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. Freddie, I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take!
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Are you okay with him moving to the head of the class of the Heisman with those 2 games? Because he wasn't even in the discussion before those 2 games.
This is a big opportunity for Dylan if he wants to continue to make his case for the Heisman Trophy, and I think he's shown that. I mean, what is he, a 6th-tier player who's going to probably end up setting most of the passing marks because he's been around for so long? So why not also throw a Heisman Trophy in the mix?
Ferrall Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, you knew he was going to bring up baseball and the Dodgers. I just knew I couldn't get through this show. I had to listen to Morency. Now I got to listen to you. Like, what is next?
It's buried here in a bottom of the hour segment just for a couple minutes, and I'm not bringing up the dopey parade either.
I wanted
that they
the
had in Los
Steinbrenner
Angeles
clip because he's talking about how much he hates losing, just like I do.
Well, you see that old 60 Minutes clip of him is making the rounds on social media where he does talk about how much he hates losing and how he gets sore. Call me a sore loser, call me whatever you want. Like he would get, and it makes you think, what would he have thought of that game the other night and the way they lost? And there is no way, and I know we've done this probably, and people are probably sick of hearing me and you do it. That was probably example number like 150 or 200 that Steinbrenner would have fired Boone like the next morning or that night. Yeah. Like he would have fired him that. He fired people so quick. We know that. But that's probably of all the times I said to you, Boone would be fired in the old days because of what's gone on.
Won't be. He's such a wussy.
No. Hal likes living the cushy life. He doesn't want to make changes. Everything's okay.
Pay Soto either.
The $20 Heinekens still flow out in center field, and that's all that matters. And I agree. He ain't not gonna offer Soto the most money. There's no way. I just don't believe it for a second.
He'd rather have
George would have
around for his 2 months of vacation every summer. Now I'll give you this: Giancarlo's great in the postseason, so I'm not gonna argue with that. But he'd rather have normal, like just everyday, simple. The stadium makes a fortune. It's the Federal Reserve, the beer sales, the food, the merchandise, the New York Yankee steak, you name it. It's just packed with money. And then he's not going to give it all away to that Soto when he's already given a ton of money to Judge and Stanton. It's not happening. And Cole.
And Cole in too. Dodgers-Yankees World Series draws the best TV ratings since 2017. We told you that would happen because it's the Yankees and the Dodgers.
It was a terrible World Series.
Right, but it's the Dodgers and the Yankees.
It was dominated by the Dodgers. It was not a good World Series. The first game was good when it was 3-2 in the 10th, and from that point forward, it was a nightmare. I'll give you this. If you're a Dodger fan, it was great. And I'll give you this. Game 5 was ridiculous. 5-0, you blow it with those errors, and the Dodgers win. I'm sure that was exhilarating for everyone in Los Angeles. But in reality, that also was a terrible game filled with errors and botched plays and a blown 5-0 lead. It was ugly. That was not a good baseball game. It was terrible.
It was terrible. It was terrible to watch, that's for sure. And now, of course, it is going to be free agency time. That is what it is now. It is time to look at free agents. Bellinger might opt out with the Cubbies. Could that be a place for the Yankees maybe if they don't get Soto back? I mean, some of these names are pretty good. Soto's, of course, number one. Corbin Burns, Alex Bregman, Willie Adames, Blake Snell, Max Fried, Pete Alonso, Teoscar Hernandez, Christian Walker, Santander,
You want
Jack
Walker
Flaherty.
and Teoscar, right? Let's get real
I
here. Who do you want?
love Christian Walker. I think that he's a great player, an underrated player because he's been playing out in Arizona where nobody really gets to see him. I think putting him on a stage like New York would be great. Now, I think all that stuff would only happen if the Yankees don't, if they don't re-sign Soto. I think if they re-sign Soto, they'll cry poor and will not sign anybody else and bring back the same group that they've had. Like, they'll probably even give Rizzo like $1 million and he'll be the first baseman again. Like, they'll go real cheap everywhere else if they bring Soto back. But if they
Rizzo
don't, I think that
so shot.
he's finished.
Oh
He's
my
finished.
God,
He can't
he's so
play anymore.
shot. Just stop.
He's got nothing left.
He knows
Profar's
it too. That's why he's saying he doesn't want to take the jersey off because he knows he's finished.
Profar from San Diego is a free agent. Like, there's some guys out there that can play. It's going
I'd
to be an
like
interesting.
Profar with Jazz Chisholm and that kind of speed and kind of life.
How about you put those two guys, around Judge there at the top? There's some things that you could do. Could be a fun off season for everybody, despite the Yankees losing. And finally, Bob Costas, after his great performance in that ALDS Yankees-Royals series, is hanging up the microphone from play-by-play. There'll be no more MLB play-by-play from Bob. He's done.
Listen, no one can argue with Bob's career. He's had a phenomenal career of doing everything that he's done in broadcasting. And I think it's probably a good move to not do the baseball play-by-play anymore. After he did it, he got abused.
Yes.
Tatum has fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump. His release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 42, 43%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I tend to do this a lot, by the way. I do it more in baseball with the anytime home run, where I may play 4 players at home. I call it covering the board. If I take 4 players, bet the same amount on each, I only need to hit 2 of them and I win money.
He's already got, 438 rushing yards on the season. He's looking like the old LT days where the Chargers were able to have that strong, dominant running back.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
One of my favorites in terms of handicappers is my buddy Kenny White in Vegas, KennyWhiteSports.com. You can follow him at K Whitey Vegas, as in KWHITEY Vegas. And we always like bringing him on coast to coast to see what he's up to and see who he's betting on. And some of his favorite plays this week. Why don't we go through those first, Kenny? Good to see you. Start with Baylor. I like Baylor and Waco as well.
Yeah, Ferrall, thanks for having me on the show. Always a pleasure. Love hearing your voice. Love being on the bench. And coast to coast as well. Baylor, this is a football team I think is getting better by the week. Dave Aranda, I think, a solid coach. I like what, they started the year with Daquan Finn, was the MAC quarterback, MAC player of the year last year, and transferred to Baylor. He had some injury concerns early and struggled. Sawyer Robertson, a dual threat's taken over, and he's been awesome. 8.1 yards a pass, 17 touchdowns, 4 INTs. TCU has dominated this team the last couple of years, and I think Baylor has had this game circled on their calendar. This team right now, I feel like they're clicking on all cylinders. This Baylor team is right now. So offensively, they're awfully good. The TCU team, not bad. Not what Sonny Dykes started with his first year, and then last year was a down year. Defensively, I got them 49th in college football. Their offense is still good, but they've underperformed to my power rating, just 2-6 ATS this year. I just think the market's overinflated them.
I like Illinois as well in Champaign and Memorial in this game against Minnesota. Like, honestly, I think the Illini and Bielema get it right this week.
Hey, he's only lost 2 games, Bielema and Illinois. They lost at Penn State and at Oregon. That's the only 2 losses they've had. This team, Illinois, is the better football team between them and Minnesota. And I love PJ Fleck. I think he does a great job. I had a big bet on him last week against Maryland because I knew Maryland was going to have a huge letdown, and they did. And Minnesota jumped all over them. But this is a different story. Brett Bielema's team is big and physical. Now, the 2 quarterbacks, too. Brossmeyer for Minnesota. At home, his yards per passer, 8. On the road, just 6. Altmaier, same difference. When he's at home, 8.5 yards a pass. On the road, just 6.4. So Altmaier is at home, and at home, 10 touchdown passes, no interceptions. I think Bielema gets this team once again. They beat them last year, 27-26 at Minnesota. This game's going to be the same way. It's going to be a close game, but I think the Illini wins by a touchdown.
You like NC State at Carter Finley and Raleigh against Stanford. Why?
Hey, they got their first spread cover against California. Dave Dorian does a good job, and C.J. Bailey, the freshman quarterback, now knows he's the quarterback. McCall retired, and Bailey's been good. 8.2 yards a pass, 8 touchdowns, 4 INTs. He's got to work on that, but he is a freshman. And his numbers are pretty much similar home and away. But here's the key to this game. Stanford's a bad team. I don't think they've won more than 4 games in 8 years now. They haven't been to a bowl game. This program has gone downhill. Troy Taylor's going to try to turn it around, but it's a tough job. He's 2-6. It's a 9 a.m. game. 9 a.m. game for Stanford. They're going to be sleeping. And NC State had the week off. They had the week off to prepare for this. So I think there's a lot of advantages for NC State here.
I'm hoping to be sleeping as well, Kenny. Indiana, my Hoosiers are 8-0, going to East Lansing, laying 7.5. Can they handle it? And can they get through Michigan to get to the game in Columbus at 10-0? How do you feel about it?
There's got to be a letdown sooner or later with this Indiana team. They have played great all year, and I'm on the dog here. Jonathan Smith, the coach from Michigan State's a Chris Peterson guy, and he was with Peterson for 16 years, and he turned around Oregon State. I can already see he's turning around Michigan State. They look like a much better football team week in and week out. So I took the points with Michigan State here. I hope Indiana wins to keep it going for you, but I hope I cover.
And what about the Pitt SMU game at Gerald Ford in Dallas tomorrow night? Pitt's undefeated. SMU 7-1. Great game. Too bad it's on that ACC network. It should be on national television.
Yeah, no doubt that game should be on national television. I'm looking at my numbers to see if I had anything on that game. I know I did not make a bet on that game. My numbers are right on what they're supposed to be. So Should be a great game to watch. I'm not making a bet on it, though.
So you love the Colts at 5.5 Sunday night at the bank in Minneapolis against the Vikings with Flacco going.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson, what an amazing athlete. He can throw it 1,000,000 yards, but he's not an accurate quarterback. He didn't play a lot at Florida. The kid doesn't have a lot of experience as an NFL quarterback. So this team's better with Joe Flacco at the helm. Taylor's back at running back. They've won 4 of their last 6 games. They're 5-1 ATS their last 6. I think Shane Steichen's a really good football coach. And I think Kevin O'Connell is from Minnesota, but I think Minnesota's kind of overrated. I do a performance rating on these teams, and their performance rating comes out to 100, and they're an average NFL football team laying points to a team who I think's above average. Not much. I think the Colts 1 point better than Minnesota. So if you're going to give me those type of points in an NFL game, I'll take it.
And the Colts have been covering like crazy this year. Who do you like in the Lions-Packer game at Lambeau?
I like it over. As long as Love stays healthy, I think both these quarterbacks, the Detroit offense is clicking on all cylinders, and I don't think it stops this weekend. I think they both go back and forth.
What about the Denver-Baltimore game in the Charm City? Denver's got a defense. Lamar, a back and a knee. King Henry's been unbelievable pounding the rock. But they're behind the Steelers now in the 8-ball in the AFC North. The Steelers are in first, not the Ravens.
Yeah, Baltimore has been my kryptonite this year, Ferrall. I lost 10 tickets on the Survivor with them week 2 when they lost to the Raiders. The lowly Raiders they lost to. And then last week, I had thought there was no possible way they could lose to Cleveland, and I had them in every teaser I possibly could in moneyline parlays and got crushed on that team once again. So I really don't have a feel for Baltimore, and I'm passing this week's game. I'll let you pick that one.
So the Bengals feel like they're in a must-win every week. They're taking on Vegas. Vegas is awful, but they cover.
Yeah, but, this is a bad football team. It's a bad organization. The one game they get up for every year is the Kansas City Chiefs. They played their tails off because they hate the Chiefs. And then you have that letdown factor of losing that game. Your best player wanted out on offense. He's gone, Devontae Adams. And your best defensive player, Crosby, he wants out. There's problems there. Cincinnati, I liked what I saw from them in the first half against the Eagles. And I bet the Eagles in that game, so I came out fortunate. But it was a game that I was very careful. I didn't think it was an easy win for me. So this is a spot Cincinnati needs to win, and I think the Raiders have a huge letdown from last week.
What do you think Dallas does in Atlanta against Cousins? I've been surprised at Cousins lighting it up. They're exciting on offense at the very least, and Dallas has been so average.
They can't run the ball. They should have spent the money and brought in Derrick Henry. I can't believe Jerry Jones would be cheap. At his age, why be cheap now? Spend the money so you can win while you're still alive.
Everybody check out KennyWhiteSports.com. He's got killer snags in the NBA, college hoops, NHL, college football, pro football. He does it all. The guy never sleeps at all. Kenny, good to see you, my man. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, bro. You too. Have a great weekend. Let's cash some tickets together.
My man, Kenny White.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump. His release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 42, 43%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I tend to do this a lot, by the way. I do it more in baseball, but the anytime home run, where I may play 4 players to hit home run. I call it covering the board. You know, if I take 4 players, bet the same amount on each, I only need to hit 2 of them and I win money.
He's already got 438 rushing yards on the season. He's looking like the old LT days where the Chargers were able to have that strong, dominant running back.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, Carver High. We shift to NBA skinny now as we head into Friday night and the weekend of pro hoops.
Yes, very big Friday night slate here in the NBA. A couple of notes quickly, because I know we're getting short on time. Remember, we end at 6:30 East today before Game Time Decisions gets going. Paolo Banchero, torn right oblique, out indefinitely, reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks. That is brutal. I mean, your boy just had a 50-point game the other night, and now he's going to be on the shelf for a long time. Unfortunate for the Magic, Scotty.
Listen, it's one thing to, kind of pull your, oblique. It's another thing entirely to tear it. So, I mean, he's got nothing but problems there. It is aggravating. It is painful just to even pull it. Like, just even to, knock it off its rhythm. It'll make it like when I tore mine, I will never forget it. I went down in a heap, like immediately, like I tipped over like a tree on the basketball court. I went down, I was like, boo, right to the floor, game over, right to the car. And I couldn't tell you how hard it was to do anything, like literally get in and out of a car, in and out of the shower, do anything, dry off, get out of a sofa, get out of bed. I mean, you are done.
He's finished. And look, that says reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks. If I was a doctor, which I only play one here on Coast to Coast, I bet you won't see him till the All-Star break. He'll be out for a very long time.
Player. He's a stud.
Great
he
player.
Just had a 50-point game.
Great player. Grizzlies beat the Bucks. The Bucks suck. They're 1-4 now. They just lost to the Nets and the Grizzlies the last couple of days. Ja Morant, 26, 14, and 10. Huge night for him. Rockets beat the Mavs. Although the Mavs lost, Klay Thompson, 6th player in NBA history with 2,500 made three-pointers. Spurs beat the Jazz last night. How about this game from Wemby? His second 5x5 game of his career. 25 points, 9 boards, 7 dimes, 5 steals, 5 blocks. That's a night. That's called filling the stat sheet for your boy Wembanyama. And D-Book had 40. For the Suns as they won at the Intuit again.
You said he was going to have a huge game last night, and he did. But that game by Wembanyama is surreal, like putting up the numbers. And then, I saw this guy Morant last night with a trip dub, and he had an alley-oop pass from his ass. He sat on the ground with the ball and threw it up from literally 20 feet, and the guy came flying in on the wing and did a reverse dunk. And it was beautiful. I did the same play this morning. I didn't dunk it, but I had the pump fake, drive baseline, and I had a big in my face, so I did the high rainbow floater over his hand trying to swat me, and it went down.
Wow. How about that? Big play for you indeed. Buddy Hield off to a great start with the Warriors, averaging 21, shooting 55 from three. He hasn't missed a free throw, and they're 4-1 without Curry. Magic Johnson gets another ring. He's got 10 rings. Enough with Magic Johnson. 10 with the Lakers, 2 with the Dodgers, 1 Michigan State, the Sparks.
What doesn't he own?
What doesn't you have? Will he get one with Washington? Isn't he part of the Washington group with the NFL now?
You know what?
Isn't he part of that?
I know he owns a piece of the Dodgers and everything, but honestly, it's really not that cool to see him pretending like he's on the Dodgers when he was, really just a Laker. Do we have to have this guy everywhere at the movie theater? He's everywhere. He owns every movie theater. He owns everything everywhere, and he gets to celebrate with the Dodgers. I'm sure he was at the parade today.
It's too much.
Magic Johnson, honestly, he's everywhere. He's like Jesus.
It's too much, is what it is. All right, here we go. Tonight, let's do it. The Celtics are in Charlotte against the Hornets. We'll start there. Celtics minus 10.5, 233.5 the total.
I mean, they should cook the Hornets, right? For dinner. They're the Celtics, for God's sakes, and they're playing this team. Come on. They got to just finish them by 20.
They should. You would like to think that that's something that can happen, but we do not know yet for that. I kind of like the Hornets with the points, Scotty, believe it or not. I think the Hornets have they've been spunky here, 2-2 out of the gate. They've played all right. Next, Orlando, no Banchero, into Cleveland, 5-0, 7.5 for the Cavs, 217.5 total.
Oh, I think the Cavs are going to whack them. No Banchero. Franz by himself against the Cavs, who are unbeaten, and everybody's playing well. Spida, Mobley, Garland, they're all playing great. Oh, I love the Cavs.
Cavs tonight getting involved. The Knicks are in Detroit against the Pistons. Knicks minus 6.5, 217.5. I did see that Cat was questionable or a game-time decision, but either way, they should be able to handle the Pistons, right?
I would think. I'm on the Knicks here to get it done in Detroit at Little Sleazer, seriously.
The Kings, Sacramento into Atlanta against the Hawks. Kings minus 6.5, 236.5, big total.
Now, I don't see why, for what reason that Atlanta can't cover this number at home. I mean, the Kings are, they're decent. They're good. I'll give you that. I got Sabonis and Fox, la-di-da, Monk, but Ice Tray and company at home, you're giving them 6.5, and they got some talent. Let's go.
Bulls are in Brooklyn at the Barclays against the Nets tonight. Nets minus 1.5. Schroeder's been great for them, as we mentioned the other day. 227.5 the total.
They covered for me this week. I like Cam Thomas. Can they beat the Bulls tonight at the Barclays? I guess they got a shot. All they got to do is win by a bucket.
The Lakers got thumped in Cleveland the other night. Tonight they're in Toronto against the Raptors, laying 9.5 on the road, 232.5. AD is playing. I know there was some question about that, with his hip, but he is available to go.
Yeah, I like the Lakers here to get this done in Toronto. I think that Toronto team, rebuild city. The Lakers, how are they going to stop the Raptors? How are they going to stop Davis and LeBron from doing whatever they want? Reeves as well. Hachimura's been good.
We'll slide one more in and then do the last two in the final segment. Minus 4.5 for the Pacers in New Orleans against the Pelicans, 232.5.
Yeah, I kind of like the Pelicans at home tonight. The Pacers had that big blown lead against the Celtics. They still won it in overtime, but they go down to New Orleans. I like Ingram and company at home. McCollum's out, though. He's out for a few weeks.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Tatum has fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump. His release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 42, 43%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Are you okay with him moving to the head of the class of the Heisman with those 2 games? Because he wasn't even in the discussion before those 2 games.
This is a big opportunity for Dylan if he wants to continue to make his case for the Heisman Trophy, and I think he's shown that. You know, I mean, what is he, a 6th-tier player who's going to probably end up setting most of the passing marks because he's been around for so long? So why not also throw a Heisman Trophy in the mix?
Ferrall Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, we got a lot of leftovers here on a pain-free Friday to wrap it up.
We certainly do. All right, 2 more NBA games. Nuggets and the Timberwolves, of course, getting together again. Always fun with these two. Minnesota minus 4.5 tonight. 219.5 is the total.
Yeah, I like the T-Wolves at home. I don't like the way the Nuggets have looked out of the gates. I know they won a couple of close games in overtime, whatever, but they have not looked good. People are getting restless in Denver. I'll take the Ant-Man and the T-Wolves at home.
Thunder off to a 4-0 start, just like everybody thought. They have been very good, and they're 11.5-point favorites in Portland against the Blazers.
Oh, I think they're going to whack the Blazers tonight in Rip City. I mean, they're just so much better. It's not even funny.
I agree with you. The Blazers stink, and Oklahoma City will go in there and take care of business for that. All right, hockey.
Everybody loves hockey.
There was a final this afternoon. Panthers beat the Stars 6-4 in Finland, so a win for them. They'll play again tomorrow afternoon over there. Here we go. Islanders are in Buffalo against the Sabres tonight. The Islanders stink. They're 3-5-2, and now they've lost Barzal as well, as they sent him back with an injury. So Sabres minus $1.15, 5.5. It's Buffalo.
Well, you said it. They never win in Buffalo. They always lose to the Sabres. So give me the Sabres.
Ottawa is at the Garden against the Rangers tonight. Rangers minus 195 now. Look out.
That's a done deal. Lay the 1.5. The Rangers aren't losing this game.
Winnipeg into Columbus against the Blue Jackets tonight. Winnipeg minus 170 on the road.
You could do either or. You could money line it or puck line it. You'll win both.
And Tampa
Jets.
is in Minnesota against the Wild. Yes, Jets. And Tampa's in Minnesota. Devils are still in Western Canada after they smashed the Canucks. They're in Farrell, Alberta against the Flames.
So the Wild haven't really trailed much the whole season. They've been in every game they play. I'll take them over the Lightning, even though the Lightning burned me last night. And then the Devils have looked fantastic out west. You see them just raking Vancouver the other night, 6-0. I'll take a shot with them tonight at Saddle Dome.
There you go. One last thing for me before you do the Farella finish. The owner's experience premium ticket package for the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight coming up. $2 million for the premium pack.
They should pay me $2 million to watch it, to go.
$2 million for the premium package. I can't believe people are going there and watching that fight.
Have you ever seen anything take this long? Like, this fight's been on the table for a year, and they're finally going to fight November 15th, and no one cares. Like, you got to be kidding me, right? Like, you're going to watch that fight? I think he gets his ass beat, too, Tyson. I really do.
He's 100 years old.
He's 100 years old. He can't take a punch.
What are you doing?
His brain is shot. Honestly, how is he going to take punches from this dude throwing haymakers, this young guy?
I don't know. I don't know how he's going to do it. I have no idea.
All right, so Ferrall finish. Orlando mass shooting leaves 2 dead and 6 wounded during a Ferralloween celebration. Yeah, it sounded like a celebration, all right, with guns. A teen suspect has been arrested for doing the shooting. Some young kid lost his mind and decided he'd start killing people at the Halloween party. New York City High School's JV football season is canceled after 3 teens are arrested for sexually abusing a teammate in a hazing incident. Nothing like having your teammates hold you down and rape you in the locker room. Nothing like having that end your season. What a horrific story. Nothing like New York City and some of the finest schools in the country with some of the finest kids that you've ever seen, like those 3 losers. A woman sentenced to 25 years for poisoning her boyfriend wrongly, thinking that he'd inherited $30 million. She thought he inherited $30 million, so she poisoned him to get her hands on the bag. Turns out he did not inherit $30 million, and she gets to go to prison for 25 years. That is awesome. Sinaloa cartel leaders permit members to shoot at U.S. Border Patrol agents now. And you thought you had problems at the border with illegal immigrants. Now the cartel is saying, shoot the Border Patrol agents. GTD is next. Go to FerrallOnTheBench.com. Have a kick-ass weekend. Enjoy all the football. We'll see you again Monday at 3 on Coast to Coast.
Nashville, help me welcome to the stage the captain of Crushers GC and the 2024 U.S. Open champion, Bryson DeChambeau.
Gosh, I'm trying to hold it in right now. The support's been overwhelming.
Tickets for Nashville this week are nearly sold out. We are calling this the Bryson effect.
Won the Saudi Open on the Asian Tour in April, and he won the International Series event in Macau in March, beating David Puig in a playoff. Here's a man with 9 career wins, 3 of them on the DP World Tour. 33 years of age from Sacramento, and he is making the most of his chance.
Remember, John Catlin playing as a reserve for Charles Howell III, who's injured. If he were to go on to win this, he gets those points. That would move him right at the top 24 number. Move him at 20th currently. Yeah, another beautiful shot. These guys making this look so easy.
So having a day. The Englishman 6 under par. He shares the lead with Abraham Ancer for the time being at least. Now this is Abraham Ancer to stay at 7 under and in all likelihood have the open night lead, and that is wonderfully done. Abe Ancer with a 64.
This is what Live Golf's about, man. I had a vision of this 2-3 years ago, seeing what the potential could be, and this is just the start. I mean, with how much support we have out here, and it's just the start, that's a testament to what Live Golf is and what the Crushers are doing, what our team's doing, and what we're trying to do for Nashville and places all across the globe. So super excited for the future of Live.